Dozens of South Africans are now keeping vigil outside the hospital where the critically ill Nelson Mandela is being treated. There's been no change in his condition since the 94-year-old's health took a turn for the worse at the weekend. The former South African president has been receiving treatment for a recurring lung infection since early June. Earlier, police cars arrived at the hospital and officers blocked the side streets around the hospital. In Pretoria now is our correspondent, Nkepile Mabuse, who joins me now. Nkepile, the situation this evening, obviously, Mr. Mandela remains gravely ill, if one wants to put it like that, and we are now awaiting further news.
You know, Richard, there's absolutely no question that this nation is now on edge. We're going into the third night since the president's office announced that Nelson Mandela is critically ill in this hospital behind me. Yesterday, on Monday, and today, the presidency reiterating that Nelson Mandela's condition has not changed. But there's been a lot of movement on other fronts. We saw a significant family meeting in Nkunu, that's in the Eastern Cape, where Nelson Mandela was based until he was brought here up to Johannesburg when he fell ill in December. It is still very unclear why the family was meeting in Nkunu, but as you can imagine, there's a lot of speculation around the reasons why. We've also seen more people outside of the family unit come to this hospital, Richard, to pay Mr. Mandela a visit. We saw the defense minister come here. We saw the Archbishop of Cape Town, but still South Africans waiting to hear an update on what exactly is going on in this hospital behind me, Richard.
And it all sounds, apologies to our viewers who may be having difficulty hearing, there is obviously noise behind you. Ordinary South Africans who revered and looked up to Nelson Mandela. And this issue, this dichotomy, if you like, between a 94-year-old man who's been out of office for many years but is still seen as being the father of the modern nation of South Africa.
Exactly, and in a lot of ways, you know, Richard, South Africans have been very lucky that Nelson Mandela has had such a long life. Of course, he's had a list of ailments. He's been in and out of hospital 4 times since December. And in a way, that sort of helped South Africans to start to come to terms with his mortality. Because for many, many years, people just did not want to face the possibility of having a day that there will be no Nelson Mandela in this country. But you're now starting to hear people start talking, worrying about, you know, how much work is being done back there. Is he in pain in this hospital? People see a man who sacrificed majority of his life fighting for this nation, and they certainly don't want to